and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Phil Hill, and this month we're going to review the just completed winter season. And as always, we're pleased to have the Supervisor of Athletics for East Brunswick Schools, Frank Noppenberger. Frank, welcome to Sports Talk.
My pleasure to be here, and as always, a special thank you on behalf of the coaches, athletes, parents, to you, Phil, and to Channel 3 and everyone who volunteers their time. Phil, let me ask you a question, though. How many years you been volunteering doing this?
Well, I did it for a 17-year stretch at one time, and then I stopped, and off and on as needed, whenever they call.
You're always there when we need it. You're one athlete you could have, Phil, from all those years and all those sports. One athlete, you had about 3 seconds.
One athlete.
No sons or relatives involved.
One athlete I could have that I know who it is, but I can't think of his name right now. Out of all the athletes for all sports and everything, well, you could say Dave Wohl, but I never did.
You've seen, although you competed against him.
The young quarterback, wiry quarterback, Greg Colheim.
Oh, yes.
Greg Colheim.
Yeah, outstanding athlete.
Outstanding athlete, nice young man.
He's up there, yep.
And I just think he did it all.
Good, that's interesting. No, good call.
Okay,
Right,
Frank.
sorry.
If I may be Frank, or better yet, maybe I should be Phil and be Frank. This winter season, by East Brunswick standards, just didn't meet East Brunswick standards, right or wrong?
Every season you have different goals, and I'm not avoiding the question. You have different goals. One of our goals is to be ejection-free, win some sportsmanship award. We have done that, so we've accomplished one goal. We were competitive in every sport. We've accomplished that. We've had a couple individual champions. We got Sergio Garcia going to the state wrestling championships. So we have individual champions, but no titles in the winter. So in that respect, absolutely. The overall winning percentage, about 60%. Very pleased with, very happy, but yes, no
down
team
about
championship.
20% from what East Brunswick usually expects. Yep. Okay, be that as may, let's start with boys basketball. Bo Henning, 15-11, and I understand they just lost out in the States yesterday to Hillsborough?
Yeah, a strange team, Hillsborough. People say you're at home, you should win state tournament, because it's all on record, but they beat 2 of the top 3 teams in the state. They beat some schools that they shouldn't be competing with. So they were inconsistent, and they had a bad winning percentage, but it was a competitive game. We only lost 2 games all year at home. Nobody likes to come in the Bears Den. And a shout out to the Bears Den, another great job on those guys. They really get us going. I think we played to our potential, which is another goal you want. You want to be able to play to your capabilities. Having Travis Hyman get hurt didn't help. Last night, Jason Henning, our starting point guard, he was coming off an illness, so I'm not making excuses. They outplayed us. But I feel we played to our potential. We had big wins against St. Joe's, against Piscataway, against McCarrick, and I saw you at the Rack, so they were quality clubs. So I think we played to our potential, so I'm very happy for the coaches, Henning and Montesesky, and for the kids like Jason Henning, Travis Heilman, Eric Eckhart, who's one of my all-time favorites.
I like that kid.
He's solid.
Yeah,
he's solid.
All the way around.
Johnny McLaughlin, they just had a great senior year with leadership, and Matt Gasses, right? Great shooter. And a guy like Matt Gasses, he plays his role. Phil, your team needs role players, and he never tried to do anything he wasn't capable of. And that's why he was such a valuable man coming off the bench.
Well, I'll tell you, Bo Henning, I said that the game I did that he was the X factor, I think, when they beat Cardinal McCarrick. And you're right, we were talking at the finals that we're watching 2 teams in the finals, Piscataway and Cardinal McCarrick, and East Brunswick beat them both, so they easily could have been there in the finals themselves and whatnot. But then, once again, 15-11, Bo Henning doing an outstanding job.
The best coach in the county, no doubt about it. And Coach Lane at the 8th grade had a great year, and Coach Neeskins at the 9th grade, 2 fundamentally sound coaches, and they teach the game before they coach it. The kids come out of there understanding basketball. And of course, Coach Monteseschi, you've seen his work. So we're pretty proud with our coaches and our athletes in the boys basketball.
Okay. Girls basketball. Katie Whalen, tough year, coming off a year last year where I think they were 21-5. So in every sense, this is a rebuilding year. But still, for us, for a lot of people who don't come to the games, and you look in the papers and whatnot, it's just a little shocking to see East Brunswick on the losing end. And I asked you this question at the rack: do you think we'll ever get a span like Reggie Carney had in the 90s and so forth?
I think my answer then was, please don't ask me that. No, that's all right. That's a fair question, and that's what we're here for. Yeah, I think we can. I mean, you've got to have the horses, and you need someone to, cultivate that interest and skill. And I believe Katie and Rich Whaling can do that. Now we have to get some of the horses that want to be committed to the basketball, because as an athlete, especially in basketball, you have to have the commitment.
You have to have the commitment, but and that brings up a quick question: is the commitment? Will kids nowadays are they prepared to do all that AAU stuff and all that all year round stuff just to play basketball when they have so many other things to do?
I think it's a challenge as a coach to motivate them, and I think it's a major decision the kid wants to make. Do I want to give up a summer by playing basketball rather than going to the beach? And what I try to tell the kids and the parents is that you're only in high school once, 4 years.
Enjoy it.
Give it your best.
Right.
Give it your best. And if it doesn't work out for you, you can look in the mirror and you can say, I tried. So I think the kids are willing to. I think they get somewhat intimidated by it all.
The history.
But more of the time commitment, AAU, and they're somewhat skeptical about getting involved. But I'm confident. Well, we've got young kids coming back: Monica Farag, Tara Romancino, Samantha So we got a good group of Dana Pagliuco coming back. We have a good group coming back. We only had 2 seniors. Brielle DeFalco, who's our leading scorer, rebounder, just about did everything for us. So a good team was able to scout us and shut her down by double teaming her or whatever. But we won 6 games, and we were in a lot of games. And then the depth of the other team just overtook us. And it was not, and let me say this one more time, it was not as a lack of effort on the kids and or the coaches.
Okay, and they have great role models in the coaches, the Whalens, Rich and Katie Whalen, and of course now they have an assist from Megan O'Neill.
Megan's kind of learning the game through us, helping out, watching to see if she really wants to coach or not, and she's got a great background and a great role model, as you just said.
Okay, super. Boys winter track, Kevin McAvoy, and correct me if I'm wrong, the GMC doesn't have dual meets for winter track anymore?
Yes. However, Coach McAvoy and I sat down, and Coach Merrigan, we sat down and said, we've got to get these kids to run. That's what it's about. We don't want to just compete for championships at championship meets. So you're not given a schedule, so you have to call up the other school and say, let's play on this date. And they don't have to, mind you. And some of them may not have the interest, the kids, or the budget to support it. So it's difficult getting some dual meets. But if you kept score, and we did, the boys were like 6-2, and the girls were like 6-1, keeping score in dual meets. And I think it's important because that's more getting the young kids to run and to get involved. And I think the GMC will change their mind because I'm going to push for it to keep it back, because it's interesting. You want to compete for a division title. You may not be able to beat a powerhouse in a invitational, but head to head, it's a different meet. You may be able to win it. So unfortunately, that's where it is. But we've had some outstanding athletes this year. Phil, in the girls, we had Sarah Smith. 3,200 champion.
GMC champion.
Yep, and she competed in the States. For the boys, we had the shot putters. We had Mr. Correa, who was also one of our cheerleaders. We had Eric Sorkin, who was a runner for us. He was a second in the mile. Tom Correa was as I said, he was a medalist in the GMCs. Justin Kudash was a medal winner. And then a young man named Phil Morris. I don't know if you know him. He
Any relation to Harry?
no.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Morris. His enthusiasm was contagious to the kids. He just wanted to be involved, and he did a good job at the dash and the hurdles, and he wanted to be involved in part of a team. He was good. You know, he wasn't championship, but guys like him you need around. And Erin Comerford for the girls will go down as one of our all-time better runners. Corrine Kaminkowicz, a freshman, Kaminkowicz, shot put.
Right.
She could be one of the best ever to come out. And then finally, Brittany Rodriguez as a junior,
Sprinter.
one of the best sprinters.
Right.
Wow, you did your homework. Good man.
I
Good
keep
man.
up with a little bit with them. Yeah. That's, again, I shouldn't say surprising. Sprinters, hurdlers. East Brunswick has become known for hurdlers.
Well, Coach McAvoy, as you know, he was a college athlete at Seton Hall, probably an IC 4A champ and all that. And so that's his baby, and he really works the kids. You see the drills he has them doing. He's got it broken down to a science. So all those hurdlers is a credit to him.
Okay. First-year coach, Jeff Sundberg from the College of New Jersey, doing both girls and boys swimming. Tell us about it.
Well, Jeff comes to us after 4 years of coaching competing at College of New Jersey. He did some YMCAs and summer camps, so he's got a great background. His tutor, the man next to him that's been here for 30 years coaching swimming, is Bill Pellegrino. Great combination.
Really.
He brings some new energy into it. He's got what they call dry practices, and his enthusiasm was contagious to the kids. And I'm pretty sure we're going to start competing for titles with him. A couple of the kids I'd like to mention: Mark Blank was a senior leader for us. Aaron Moskovich is competing this weekend in the TFC in the 100 free and the 50 free. And I believe he's received a scholarship in swimming.
Wow.
Not sure where. And then Dan O'Sullivan, another outstanding leader. On the girls' side, had an equally successful season. Dana Lebovic is one of our captains. And our 400 free team is competing in the TFC this weekend. That's Tiffany Carson, Catherine Zavoda, her sister Jennifer. Jennifer will also compete in the 100 free, and Alexandra Nawat. So there's 4 kids competing in the TFC, and that's it. That's the finals in the entire state. So that's pretty impressive.
It's real impressive. Anytime you can get one youngster in a tournament of champions, and we have one on the boys' side, and we have this team.
The relay.
The relay team on the girls' side.
And you know, Phil, of all the sports, swimming, the dedication. Now, I know you were an athlete in high school, and you know, you did track, and you're outside, and it's springtime, and it's nice, and there's some socialness going on, and it's fun. Football's kind of neat, scrimmaging, banging people, scoring touchdowns, you know, all those you scored. And even basketball, it's fun scrimmaging, you're playing.
Right.
But these swimmers, all they do, they're in the pool and they're swimming and they're swimming and they're swimming.
Wow.
And it's hot in there. Then they get on the bus and they got to come home. Well, they and wrestlers, probably the most dedicated athletes, because the practices are not fun. I think basketball practice is fun.
Yeah.
Baseball's fun. Football, parts of it are fun, you know, scrimmaging and whatnot. But the swimming and the wrestlers, my hat goes off to them.
I'll tell you, I understand St. Joe's first, of course. They seem like they always are. East Brunswick's just nipped by South Brunswick. I mean, it was that close.
And we beat them in a duel.
Is that right?
Yeah, so the bigger meets, as I said about winter track, they change. So we beat them in the duel, and we're going to be better in the next couple of years. As a matter of fact, in 2 years, because we're already doing 2010 schedules. As a matter of fact, Phil, I saw a varsity jacket 2010.
Jeez, mercy.
We getting old?
Mercy, we are getting old.
Well, so anyway,
too quick.
We're going to have 2 divisions in boys and girls swimming. So that'll even things up and make it interesting for us.
Okay. Cheerleading, Michelle Sperduto. I want to say something first before you.
Sure.
It's something I just noticed. When we were at the RAC for the county finals in basketball, the cheerleaders came out and they did their thing. Matter of fact, one of the McCarrick girls hit the floor, and I think she hurt her ankle. I noticed that East Brunswick, you have the mats there. Is that a state? Apparently, it's not a state requirement. It's East Brunswick requirement.
Well, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
No matter whose requirement is, and the Booster Club got involved and helped purchase those mats for the girls and for the stunts they do and for the competition I'll get into. They're needed. So it made sense, and we appreciate the Booster Club. Cheerleading has evolved. When we were in high school, it was cheering, getting the crowd involved, and that was it. You were a cheerleader. You led the cheers. Now there's not only the cheerleaders, but there's competition cheerleaders. And we are good enough to be able to balance that our kids are dedicated enough, the athletes, the cheerleaders, that they do both. They'll compete on weekends and cheer during the week. It's time demanding, but they enjoy it. And they get both, they get the best of two worlds there. So that's the reason for those mats.
I tell you, I don't know how they do it. Remember my daughter Michelle was a cheerleader all the way up from Pop Warner up to her senior year, and that required an awful lot of time at that time. So now you're talking about them getting involved in competition, and I see you have All-Americans named at East Brunswick.
And they go to summer camps, and they do dances now. I can't remember if Michelle was involved when they were doing dances at halftime, but it's more entertaining now. And but it's good. It's good to see the girls. We have a big squad. I'm going to read the seniors' names off in a minute, but a big squad, and we have 2 males. We always get 2, 3, maybe 4 males involved. And it's the sport has changed, and that's okay, and we're going to adjust with it. So I'm very proud of our cheerleaders, and we wish them luck. They got a state competition coming up in 2 weeks down at Trenton, so hopefully they'll do okay there.
Was East Brunswick the first in the area to have boy cheerleaders?
I'd like to say yes, but I would be, making that up. I'm pro East Brunswick. I would, if not the first, then we're definitely the second. And that was Mrs. Mangino started that a long time ago, and I said, what? And then she came right back at me, like she should. She's passionate about it.
And nobody bats an eye now.
And she came right back at me, and she convinced me, we're going to do that. So, but let me get to the seniors.
Please.
We got Samantha Angeline, Carly Brining, Lindsay Catarzi, Gara Condell, Michelle Lanzano, and we hope she's feeling better. She just had an operation. Ileana Rosado, Chris Santiago, the football guy, Melinda Toto, Alyssa Tucci, Madeline Witchell, and Kathleen Wolverton. Senior cheerleaders, congratulations on a super winter season, girls and guys.
They do a good job. Frank, I'm going to say a word to you, word association, you tell me what comes to mind. Dutkins.
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 Is that a donut? What?
Dutkins. Dutkins was the last bowling alley in South River. It was the last bowling alley where you actually set pins by hand.
Well, you did that.
And
I didn't do that.
I did do it.
I'm not that old.
As a matter of fact, I did do it and whatnot. So when I see bowling, I think about that. It takes me back there. But bowling, Coach Jeff Elias, both of his teams, boys and girls, had outstanding seasons.
Consistency is about bowling. As good as Coach Henning is for basketball and Borden with football and all our other coaches, Elias is about our bowling team. He's developed a booster club. He's got an area in the school where he publicizes their scores and any articles in the paper. He has done a great job of promoting the sport and bringing us to the next level. And the best word to describe our bowling is successful. Winning, it's important, but we're consistent and we're classy. Boys bowlers, a couple more. We got Jeremy Cerminio, Gabe DiPietro, and Matt Hage. Outstanding bowlers. I believe it was Matt that bowled at 299 this year.
Wow.
On his last bowl, he left one ball up. And if it's not Matt, I apologize. Girls bowling, Marissa Delaval, Megan Keegan, and Sarah Miller. But it's consistency, and they have a great camaraderie. And I'm lucky enough to be invited to their senior night that they have for the parents at the bowling alley. It's just a great, great group to be involved in.
Okay, super. Wrestling, Glenn Pazinko, Coach Pazinko, 9-10 this year. Sort of a down year for them.
We're on the verge. I mean, we have a lot of good juniors. We're on the verge, and I'm not sure if we weren't in the GMC, how much better we'd be. But we've got to go against Madison. Saraville's had their best team in years. I meant Old Bridge, not Madison. South Plainfield. And we don't duck anybody.
Right.
We'll wrestle them. And we go down to that tournament down in Neptune, which has got the best teams in the state. We won't duck anyone. But yeah, we'd like more wins. We'd like to be more competitive for championships. But it was only 3 years ago we were GMC champs, or 4.
Okay.
So it's not that far removed. But we're used to success in wrestling, and I guess that's what it's about. But Sergio, as we mentioned before, he's going down, Garcia.
Right.
He's going down to Atlantic City for the state wrestling. Some other seniors, Todd Marriott had a good year for us, advanced to the regions. Brian Padero, another great year. Then we've had some young juniors, Matt Ackerman, Kenny Charleston. Remember his brother? You weren't?
Brett.
No, brother, no, that's a cousin.
Okay.
His father played football for us in '78.
Okay.
Yeah, I may have coached him. Or
All
maybe
right.
it was older brother. No, it was me.
Okay.
Jimmy Ryder, a junior, good wrestling. Brian Shine's going to be fine, and the Parabello brothers, although it sounds like a pizzeria. They're 2 brothers that are doing a good job for us. So we're on the verge, and that's what I'd like to refer to it. We're on the verge of breaking through to the upper echelon.
Well, I tell you, all they have to do to break through on the upper echelon is show that encore tape with Glenn Pazinko, and what a performance he did in winning that day. It was. I watched it, and he was, scars all over him and everything else, and just outstanding now.
Well, yeah,
it's motivational.
Those tapes are great, and I know you and David have a lot to do with it. But
Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit.
it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Dr. Phil, he has some student trainers. Phil's into everything. I see him almost at least once a month in the home news. He has an article talking about something or another, and he's still his student trainers, and he probably puts out more trainers for local schools around here than anyone else.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He knows his profession. He's personable with the parents, with the kids, and he is such a pleasure to have in the East Brunswick system. I don't know where we would be without Phil Hostler and his expertise. And I know sometimes he tells the parents or the athlete the bad news, and it's not real popular.
Right.
But if he does err, it's always on the side of safety, and there's none better. And Victoria McLean was one of our managers, seniors, one of his girls that stayed with us throughout the year, and she was a pleasure working with for the last 4 years. But don't want to replace Phil. Don't want to be, or you. Don't want to replace him, because I don't know if we can.
I hear you. We mentioned briefly about the encore. Any feedback?
They love it.
Everybody I've run into as well.
The people, they didn't know I coached basketball. They didn't know I was young once.
and good-looking ones also.
Yeah, maybe. They enjoy saying, "Is that Phil Hill from way back then?"
Where you at here?
Yeah, it's just a great time. People, when it goes on Sunday night, the next day, everybody's talking about it, laughing, and it's fun. And thank you to the guys at EBTV for saving those. But as a matter of fact, Pete set me up with a couple tapes. We're going to send it to the championship team.
Super. We got a couple minutes, Frank. Anything to tell me about the spring season? Any predictions? Tennis, volleyball?
You know better for me to predict, but we will be exciting in volleyball. We will be exciting. We have Travis and, of course, McLaughlin coming back to better. Eric Corpus, 3 all-state quality players in volleyball.
Coach them.
We're going to be good. The couple girls and tracksters I mentioned, they'll be competing. Baseball, a little bit of rebuilding, but we'll be competitive. Softball will be fighting for a title. Tennis, we're always there. Golf, our best golfer stayed down in Florida in a school, but we'll compete for a title. If he was here, it would be over. But I expect a good spring.
Okay.
I'm not going to guarantee championships, but how about this? It starts this Friday, Phil.
Amazing.
This Friday.
That's quick.
And the snow's still out there, and the lacrosse teams will be okay. They're going to compete. Cindy and Matt, our two coaches, the boys and the girls, are going to be pretty good. So I'm excited about the spring.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing. At the RAC, they had the awards in between the games, and East Brunswick boys won the sportsmanship award, and that's no accident. I mean, I've done a few games this year, and to watch you and Mr. Murphy. Zero tolerance for acting out for any type of any activity that's not sportsmanlike and whatnot, and you guys are on it right away. And so when I say people winning the sportsmanship award, it's not an accident. It's from surveillance and being right on top of things. And so you guys are to be congratulated.
Thank you, Phil. And it's important to us to win the right way and lose the right way. And that credit also goes to our fans and the players and certainly the coaches who won't tolerate any of that. And it's a challenge because sometimes on TV you see acting out as part of it and it's okay, and it's not. When the teams rush the floor or when somebody throws a ball, it could turn into something nasty one day and ugly. But I'm very proud of our fans and our coaches.
Okay, let me end it where put you on the spot like you put me on the spot. Give me an all-time athlete. Boys or girls?
I like the Harmon kid.
Mark Harmon.
Yeah.
What a great kid.
I like Mark
What
Harmon.
a great kid. A good choice as well. Just an all-around athlete and a gentleman as well. And
I'd throw Pazinko in there.
And Glenn Pazinko, too, Mr. All-American. That's for sure.
Female athlete. I'll go with my first pick on the girls' basketball.
Jesse.
Megan O'Neill.
Oh, Megan O'Neill.
I think Megan,
you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think Megan can play any position. I'd go with her. Boy, I sit down with the old timers and we go through this and names come up like Greg Holheim. I can't remember the last time I talked about him. Varnell Johnson still leads this school in tackles, I believe. Sure he does.
Right. Yeah.
What an athlete. He came by this year at a game and said hello. So there's been a lot of good ones, and someday someone will figure out. Brian Forte, another great athlete.
He was on the tip of my tongue there. Yeah. It's probably the one person I would like to interview even now, just to talk about those days and to talk about what he's doing now. So if you have contacts for him, let us know. TV3 would certainly like to talk to him.
We've had a lot of good ones, a lot of good athletes over the years. There's the head coach of the Connecticut track team, Greg Roy, is an EB grad.
Is that right?
I mean, we have them all over the place.
Okay.
And of course, Dave Wall's up with the Celtics. Hope he's still there. That losing streak was getting long.
They may get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, we're about out of time, but I do want to thank you for appearing here today. And as I said, to your standing in the athletic community, not just in East Brunswick, but if people go around the state, Frank Noppenberger and the job that he does at East Brunswick is parallel to none. So
thank you.
You do a good job.
Thank you.
Okay. So for Frank Noppenberger, I'm Phil Hill saying, please join us next time.